Hello world, this is Nadira Baya with NBI Inspires, and I'm here to inspire you. This is episode 15. That's right, you heard it, episode 15. If you've been with me, you know it's episode 15. If you haven't, it's your first time listening, welcome. Welcome to this great dream of mine, this great venture, this wonderful journey. Thank you so much, and welcome, episode 15. You know I like to do appreciation, so I want to thank God, my family, my friends, everyone. I just love you so much. Shoot with Haas, everyone that just builds this connection that I have and makes this journey and this dream so alive. I just want to thank you all. And all to the listeners, thank you for just being here and being supportive. And it's because of all of you that, again, with the backbone and support, that all of this is coming true. And I hope for all of you that you get what you need from this, that this gives you information, this gives you just that guiding light, that gives you the hope and the courage that you have within inside you. I hope that this platform really does that for you. I really do. And I just hope you find a lot of joy and guidance and knowledge and all the good stuff that you have inside you. I hope this provides everything that you need. And so thanks so much. And also please subscribe. I know I don't mention that before, but I hope that you do, because you know how it goes. If you do that, just this keeps this beautiful train flowing. So thank you so much for that. Now on to the topic of today, which is episode 15, which is relationships. The definition for relationships is the way in which two or more concepts, objects, or people are connected, or the state of being connected. Also, the study will assess the relationship between people and how they connect with each other. Also, the state of being connected by blood or marriage. Another definition is the way in which two or more people or groups regard and behave toward each other. Now, for all of us, I know when you think relationships, you think of relationships that you have with someone else, your significant other. That's usually when we think of relationships, that's what we're thinking of. My relationship with my husband, my spouse, my boyfriend, my girlfriend. That's usually what we think of when we think of relationships. And but relationships are everything. And like it stated, it's your bond, it's your connection with someone. It doesn't necessarily have to be a spouse or significant other. But when we think of relationships, what I know when I do mostly, and what you see in the media, is relationships portrayed with a spouse or significant other. Then you have different relationships. You have relationships with your friends, your siblings, your coworkers. All of those things are also relationships. And the thing, as far as I want to dive in with the relationship when it regards to yourself first, because, you know, if you listen to the episode where I spoke about love, the first relationship should always be with yourself first. How do you come to yourself? How do you show up for you? That's really important. When you think about relationships, that's what should really come to mind first. How am I with myself first? Am I being the best person to myself first? Not in a selfish way, in a good way. In a way where, you know what? Am I holding myself accountable? Am I being consistent? Am I being thoughtful to myself? Am I being tough on myself, but also kind at the same time? Am I being harmonious with myself? Am I being honest with myself? Am I being real with myself? Am I being considerate of myself? Am I respecting myself? That's a big one, ladies. To everyone, you know, this is for everyone, but now really, I'm a woman, so I definitely like to lean in towards women because I'm a woman. You know, I could speak from a woman because I'm a woman and I love it. So as women, how is your relationship with yourself first? Really think about that. How are you with you first? How are you with you first? Because it doesn't matter how it is with everyone else. If you are not coming straight with you first, if you're not coming correct with yourself first, it is going to be so difficult to have a healthy relationship with other people when your relationship is unhealthy. It really, really is. And I spoke before in the episode prior to this, episode 14, when I spoke about being enough. We have allowed social media to make us think that what we see, those filters and all that, the illusions, we've allowed the illusions to be reality. And that is so unhealthy. It is so unhealthy. You know, like I said before, social media, in my opinion, is what you make it. So if you make social media your end all be all, and if you make social media negative, whatever you subscribe to, who you follow, and I hate that word follow, but whoever you, and that'll be another episode, but whoever you, see what's going on in their platform and their pages, things like that. If what they're putting out there is something that doesn't make you feel good, then don't look at it. Don't surround yourself with it. That's unhealthy for your relationship with yourself. It's so unhealthy. It's so unhealthy. And as women, we tend to be really hard on ourselves. like project as far as, well, is this what I have to look like? And this is, it's unfair because society, society standards towards us it's biased and it's not fair. And I spoke about that before, and I will speak about that because I want change and I want positive change. And in order for that to happen, you got to speak up about it. However, we have the power as well. We are women and we are beautiful. And you need to know that if you want your world, remember I spoke before, your internal world to be this positive beacon of light, then it has to start with you. So therefore, don't subscribe to things that don't make you feel good, that are unhealthy, because that is affecting you, your universe. And then when it comes to having other relationships with other people, it is going to be unhealthy because you don't feel right on the inside. And now we got a problem. Houston, we got a problem. And that's something you really want to look into. And that's why having this beautiful podcast is to help give you that roadmap to studying yourself, to really thinking about yourself and really getting to know yourself and love yourself. It's really, really important, but your relationship with you is so important. So get to the point where you are healthy with yourself first. Have a healthy relationship with yourself first. And also has to do with food and all those other things, that too, but it's your mindset. You got to have a healthy relationship with you first. If you don't have the healthy relationship with yourself first, you're going to have unhealthy relationships with other people. And you're not going to know why you're projecting a negativity and a stress on yourself because you don't feel good on the inside. You're not at peace. There's no harmonious balance. The beauty is not coming from you because you are coming from a negative place. And that's because of the choices we make. You have the power, ladies. You are so special, so powerful beyond belief. And I just want you to know that it is up to you to make those changes. So it's up to you to say, no, I'm not standing for this anymore. The power of no. Oh, that'll be another episode, God willing. The power of no is so important. And just understand that sometimes you got to say no. Sometimes you got to know when to say no, got to know when to say yes. But if you don't feel good about it, say no. That is steps into having a healthy relationship for yourself. Don't compromise who you are, your values, to make other people feel gratified. Bump that. If they're not secure, if they don't have healthy relationship with themselves, they have to look into that on themselves. And that is a path that you have to look within inwardly. It's not physical. And sometimes, again, when I'm saying about social media, the filters and all the other stuff, listen, if you want to do filters, that's your business. But when it comes to a point where you can't recognize yourself, again, like I said, Houston, we have a problem. It shouldn't be like that. So really look at yourself inwardly and understand that having a healthy relationship, being love yourself first, love everything about you. That needs to come from yourself first, because when you're coming from love, you just spread it. It is just infectious. It just crosses all bounds. Love conquers all. It really does. And when you love yourself and you have that healthy relationship with yourself, which comes from love, then your internal world, your universe is going to be bright. And then when it comes to who you choose to be with, as far as a relationship, as far as walking this path together, as far as a companion or a husband or wife, significant other, whoever it is in your life that you have, it will be healthy because you are loving yourself. Now, in addition to, again, keeping it real, sometimes women, for us, when I said about social media, men, don't give men the power to degrade you. Don't allow that. Stand up for yourself. Love yourself. But at the same time, you have to make sure that you are looking within yourself. Definitely look. I know I keep stressing it, but it's so important because it comes down to you. It comes down to you. You know you better than anyone else. So you really got to get to know you. But as far as the men, I got to check you too, because it's not okay that you were following women on social media that look nothing like your wife or your girlfriend. What is up? You were liking women that have nothing to do with who you were connected to. That's disrespectful. And then as women, when we come to you about it, and it's like, oh, well, you and your feelings. No, I'm not in my feelings about nothing. That's not okay. And then also you think about, if you, for the men out there, how would you feel if your daughter, my niece just came in, I'm sorry. How would you feel if your daughter or your sister or your cousin or your niece or your mom even, if the men in their life were on social media being disrespectful towards building these bonds with other women than they're not married to, building or connection with, they're building these relationships with other women, you wouldn't like that either. Or would you like it if your wife or your girlfriend, whomever, is liking men that don't look like you? Or even if they do look like you, would you like them to be doing the things that you know you have no business sliding into someone's DMs when your intent is to slide in something else? Would you like for them to do the same thing? No. But yet you do it. It's a double standard. And then you wonder why women are feeling insecure, because look what you're doing. And that's the reason why, women, you have to make sure your boundaries, your respect for yourself, do not tolerate stuff like that. Do not tolerate anything. If that's what you want to be and who you want to be with, then make that decision. Understand, like, if people make mistakes, I get that. And I'm all for second chances. To a certain degree, because some things I'm like, listen, I need time to cool off. Like, this is just, we all, God is very merciful. So we should be merciful to other people. But sometimes when people burn bridges, I'm like, look, the bridges burn. Like, that's just me. It's just hard. Some people are toxic and you should not be around. However, the other people that are genuine are trying to make the changes. I get that. But when you continue to make the same mistakes over and over, you really are not sincere with making changes. And when you, again, are liking women or being just all about social media in a negative way that's not helping you or helping your relationship, that's a problem. That is a big problem. And, relationships, my belief from what I've studied and observed, because I am in a relationship, I am happily married, been married for over 15 years, love my husband to death, all that I am. Why I think what I know, what works so well with us is we're constantly thinking about the other person. What I've noticed and what I've studied and observed is the reason why relationships fail, of course, cheating, infidelity, lack of communication, all those other, finances is a big one, all of those things. But the reason why those happen are, in my opinion, from what I've noticed and studied, observed, are all under the big umbrella of you forget to treat other people the way you love to be treated. Love. If the world treated everyone the way they want to be treated or love to be treated, we would have zero issues in the world. That's with everything. I mean, some people are just whacked. Unfortunately, there is evil, so you can't, we're not talking about evil, but I'm talking about people that are trying, just people every day just trying to do their thing. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. If you put yourself in the other person's shoes, that will help, hopefully you will refrain and you will think about, possibly I shouldn't do that, because if I give into that, this is what's going to happen. Or would I like for this person to do it to me, and how would it feel? You see what I mean? Feel. It's like, go back to when you were first in love. How did that feel? You were constantly thinking about that person. You couldn't wait to see them, touch them, smell them, feel them, hug them, all that good stuff, right? Because you were constantly thinking about them. And when you're constantly thinking about someone, you're constantly thinking of how to make them happy and make sure they're satisfied. And what you will do whatever it takes to keep that smile on their face. To see them smile makes you smile. Just thinking about them just sends you to the moon. What happens is when you're first in love, sometimes that slips away because everyday life, we get busy, all that stuff. But if you go back to the basics of how you felt when you first fell in love, it all stems from you constantly thinking about that person, which means you want to treat that person the way you want to be treated. You're not going to hurt them because you know that hurting them is hurting you. And you love them, you're in love so much that you just want to do whatever it takes to make them feel happy and loved. So, the big thing in relationships is just not treating people the way you want to be treated. And that's with everything. It really is. The golden rule is treat everyone the way you want to be treated. Treat everyone the way you love to be treated. Everyone wants to be treated well, with love, everyone. And that's when people and I have to, remember myself, when you're giving people advice, or when people some people can't, I'm a sharpshooter. I'm like, oh yeah, you're a sharpshooter. So let that same person reverse it and come at you in that strong way. You will have a problem. You will have a straight attitude. Yes, you are. Cut it out. Most people can't take it. And that's just true because no one wants to be tracked. But I digress. But, just relationships, because relationships are so beautiful, y'all. We're human beings. We're meant to be social. We're meant to be together. At the beginning of COVID, what did that show us? We need people. We need to socialize. That's why so many people are outside right now. They're like, I was cooped up. I can't deal with that. And you get it. We need to be around people. And that's beautiful. Love is beautiful. Relationships are beautiful. But what's more beautiful is when you value each other and you value yourself. You value what you have. You value your values and you value what brought you together. You value what started all of this. That's what you value. And yes, as human beings, we're supposed to grow and adapt. And you're not going to be the same as when you first fell in love. But you should be better. You should be better. And that's the thing when it comes to relationships, is why they fail, from what I've seen and observed, again, is we are not treating other people the way you want to be treated. And men, it is a double standard. That's the truth. Men will go crazy if they saw women. Listen, first of all, that whole stigma of women are jealous, men are equally jealous. They just don't go about it the way women do. We will talk more about it and show our emotions about it. Men be like, nah, I'm good. Nah, while you're around, it's different. Their approach is different, but men are just as equally jealous. And a man will go crazy if he sees his wife, the woman he's with, that's very important to him, around another man, talking to another man while you're around him. You know what I mean? You got a problem. Well, guess what? I have a problem too. As women, we have a problem too. Well, why is it that you can have your cake and eat it too, and as women, we can't have a cupcake? That's a problem. But as women, you have to stand up for yourself and approach it in a way where you're not going to take any disrespect. We're human beings. We make mistakes. But you're not going to take any disrespect. It's really, really important. You got to, again, your first relationship is with yourself first. You got to love yourself. And you really got to look at things in a way of how you really want to be treated. How you want to be treated. So you want to make sure that you look at things in a positive way. If you don't look at things in a positive way, and if you don't stand up for yourself, unfortunately, those things, the outcome of things you want in life are not going to necessarily happen. And it shouldn't be that way. But you got to have your values. You got to know what you're going to stand for and what you're not going to stand for. And you really got to love yourself. And that relationship, remember, numero uno, the relationship with yourself first is so important. It's so valuable. Because you cannot love anyone else if you are not putting yourself first in a way to have your values and be good to you. If you don't do that, it's going to be very hard to have healthy relationships with other people. And if you have, again, I'm not a therapist. I am a life coach. I'm not a therapist. But, if you have trauma, which is so unfortunate, and I feel terrible if anyone has experienced any type of trauma, and I hope you get the treatment and the care that you need. You have to work on that. Identify. It is okay to say you need help. It is okay. As women, sometimes we don't ask for help enough, and you gotta, especially Black women, we don't. And we have to. Heart disease is big, and just being unhealthy, and you need to take that very seriously and deal with whatever trauma you have. Please get the help that you need. Please, I just definitely want the best for you, care about you, want the best for you. And if you can't, just look at your life and just look at the things, why, really figure out why you are the way you are and get to really know you. Like I said at the beginning, you got to love yourself, know yourself, love yourself, all of that. But you got to be able to study yourself, really look inwardly. But your relationships are really big. The double standard is not cool. It ain't cool, fellas. It's not cool, whenever cool. And it's always that way with women. And it's really annoying. It really is. It's so whack. Because we go through it. And this hormonal thing is true. It is not made up. I know with my husband, let me tell you, I let him know that, when I'll be in my feelings sometimes. And then sometimes he can be in his feelings. That's the truth. But communication has to be there, and it'll be there for each other. But, whenever I make a point of anything of importance, I try to approach it in a way of just pure facts. I try not to be very overly emotional or anything. I try to just get down to it. Because the point is to get the message conveyed, to get the truth, to get to point A to point B, to make things better. And if I'm wrapped into the emotional aspect of it instead of getting down to the root of it, that's not helping the situation. And see, as women, what we have to do is women have to understand how men work, and men have to understand the way women work. And that's another thing that is a problem. But again, that goes back to treating people the way you want to be treated. When you don't understand the other person and you're not thinking of the person, it's really hard to understand where they're coming from. So that's why it's very important to treat other people the way you want to be treated, and listen. That's another topic, God willing, another episode, is really listen to where the other person's coming from. It makes things better. But sometimes, in relationships, sometimes you're going to say things that are just going to piss the other person off. You want to get the last word. You just want to say things that dig. I know my husband was like, you always have them daggers. You know how to always, we're women. We know how to cut you up with our words. We do. But I don't want to be that way. I want to be the type of person, the type of woman that when I speak truth, I speak power, and I want what is right. I don't want to necessarily, everybody wants to be right, that's the truth, but I don't want it to be where, because I said so. I don't want to ever come at that way. I don't want to come nagging. And that's on both sides. Women, we are working now. Back in the day, we weren't working like that. But now we are working, also having children. We're doing a lot. It's a lot of balancing acts. So whatever works for your relationship, that's for you. But it should be balanced in a way where whatever works for you. But I know for me, if I'm home, what's up for dinner? My husband's like, what's up? It should be like, what's going on with dinner? But communication, treating the other one the way you want to be treated. If he's the one that's off, what's up for dinner, babe? You know what I mean? That communication. But most importantly, greeting each other with a smile at the door. No one wants to come home with nagging. No one wants to come home with a frown. No one wants to come home with what you didn't do. Like, that's not cool. And that's on both sides. But I know as women, sometimes we can do that. And you just want to put yourself in the wonderful man you're with, and you are a beautiful, wonderful woman yourself. How would you like if you came home from work and it's like, baby, you'd be tight. So sometimes I've seen that happen, and I don't want to be that way. So I don't do that. My mother's not that way. She's just a woman, beautiful, special. She's a queen, and she just, amazing. And she didn't approach things that way. So that's what I was taught. And I was taught, thank God, alhamdulillah, the correct way. And I don't approach things that way. And I approach things in a way where I try to, the way I want to be received, the way that I want to be approached. Like, nah, don't come at me like that. I was working too, I'm tired too, don't come at me with some nonsense. I don't want to hear all that BS. No, and that's the truth. But it works both ways. See, what the thing is when you're in a relationship and certain things happen, you put it back on them. But a lot of people are like, I want you to listen to what I'm saying. I want you to feel how I'm feeling. Feel how I'm feeling. And like I said, with the hormones and things like that, it's no joke. All that stuff that we go through, the hormonal stuff we go through, it's real. And then so we have to be in the world. We will have sometimes the self-conscious images, your hormonal, you're balancing all these things. It's a lot. But that's why you got to go back to the basics and figure out loving you. Take some time to be just with you. Get a spa day if you can, some alone time, all of that. Love you. Get back to the basics with you first, ladies. Have that healthy relationship with your first. And then whoever you're with, also, it's a beautiful thing. I hope whatever you have is working. If it's not, okay, then hopefully something else will come, God willing. But love is important. Just think about the good stuff that you have and what makes you happy. And don't compromise. Make sure you have solid values. Sometimes I've heard some women have some really silly compromises, some silly things that they think are really values and standards, and it's just being petty. And that's not helping nobody. You just want to have something that you both are growing together. You're both going in the same direction, not silly stuff, and but again, do what works for you. But it's definitely about really getting back to the basics with yourself and loving yourself. And as women, we got the world on our shoulders, and especially as Black women, we do. But love yourself. You are beautiful. I care about you so much. I want the best for you. And just really think about, I always like to have questions. Really think about your relationship with yourself. How are you with yourself? Do you love yourself? Is your relationship with yourself, do you feel good about yourself? Do you feel it's healthy or unhealthy? What do you do to make things better for you? What are things that you add into your life to increase you in positivity and optimism? What are you doing to make sure that you're better than you were yesterday? What are you doing? What steps are you taking to make sure that those relationships that you have, no matter who it's with your spouse, significant other, siblings, whatever, how are those relationships? Are they healthy or unhealthy? And what are you going to do about it, about everything? How are you going to make your days better and ultimately make other people's days better? Okay, so I care about you. I want the best for you. Relationships are all about treating other people the way you want to be treated. And it starts with self-love. It starts with loving yourself first. Be good to yourself. I care about all of you very deeply. And I like to close it with, all we have is now. It really, really is. All we have is now. So just be really good to each other and make it count. Really make it count. Whatever you want to do, shoot for the stars. You all should be shooting for the stars because you're a star. No one has the right to tell you you're not a star because you are. I always say you were created from greatness from God. So that's the truth. So just love yourself and be good to each other. But you got to be good to yourself. Very, very good to yourself as well. Okay? So thanks, y'all. Till next time. Peace.